Start recording. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 843. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, and there you can catch all the videos of the show. And that's youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS. Don't forget to click subscribe. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. Remotely support your customers. If you are an IT pro or an MSP, Instant House Call provides unattended and on-demand access. And I was literally minutes before the show started. Actually, I was connected to two things. A client had trouble with a VPN, and I remoted in and took care of that. And of course, I had never even spoken to them. They're a new employee for a client, and had them download Instant House Call, connect it right away. And then I was connecting to my son's computer back in Pennsylvania, configuring a Synology device that he needs for Monday, because this is kind of sad, but my son's godmother's mother passed away. And since my wife and I are down here in Florida, Michael Jr. is going to the wake and the funeral, and everything's tomorrow. So I had to quickly get this configured tonight before the show. I was able to get it configured. So anyway, you could try Instant House Call free by going to instanthousecall.com. Don't forget to use the promo code Mike Tech Show for your free 15-day trial. This show is also brought to you by MagnusBox. This is the best online backup service that you can possibly have for your customers. You can test out and demo the software and get all the same features that paying partners get, so you can try it out. And then you're going to want to become a partner, because they're HIPAA compliant. They have Office 365 they can back up. They support every operating system: Windows, Windows Server, Linux, Mac, Synology, you name it, you can back it up. They have the answer. It's inexpensive, and this is a way for you to make money. Go to magnusbox.com and sign up for a demo. And don't forget to tell them you heard it here on the Mike Tech Show. You know why? You get white labeling free, and your first 3 months half off the platform fee. Try it out. Kick the tires. You will love it. I have so much to talk about, and I got a few minutes of some personal things that I just got to talk about, and things that are happening. And then I got a lot of tech that I got to talk about tonight. And let me tease everybody with, we're going to talk about WireGuard VPN. I have a QuickBooks error that I think I have a great link. We're going to talk about Fake Spot. Yeah. And then we got 12 listener emails that I got to get to that have been building up. So first, personal stuff that I'm observing right now. Now, my wife visited me. Because of going through the hurricane last week, she knew I was so completely stressed out that she got permission to work remotely for 2 weeks and drove down last weekend to meet me here. She did tell me before she was heading down, but I didn't know that before then. And she's down here. But here's the thing. She's sick. I literally had to go. She's running a fever. Just all kinds of symptoms, but tested negative for COVID. Now, back in the Philadelphia area in Pennsylvania, all three sons battling 3 different illnesses. My Michael Jr. is an serious upper respiratory infection. Had to get some stuff. Ryan is bronchitis, and Tyler, I'm not sure what he had, but it was like another flavor of bronchitis. My oldest son's wife is also sick. More of the symptoms that my wife is doing. We're just seeing so many people sick. Everybody around me, well, I'm not back in Pennsylvania, but I am doing my best because I can't be sick. And Michael lost a couple days this week, and that was very hard because I'm taking care of everything the best I can remotely. So that's some of the stories in the trenches for tonight. Now, something cool. Last year, I attended, my love for music and going to concerts. And tomorrow night, I'm going to be at Amalie Arena to see Poppy open for Jane's Addiction and the Smashing Pumpkins. So that's tomorrow night. Can't wait. And then my sister's coming down from Jacksonville, and we're going to see Stevie Nicks later in this month. Well, in the beginning of December, 97X, they're the big alternative station down here in Tampa. They have what they call the next big thing. And my son Ryan and I attended it last year. So today at 8 a.m., they announced the lineups. And we were going to decide, hey, is it worth spending the money for the tickets and the airline? Because I'm already going to be back in Pennsylvania. And so here, my son, they're giving 2 tickets away at 8 a.m. He calls in and wins the tickets for both days, a pair of tickets. And it was so cool when I hearing Ryan on the radio, and I'm just blown away. So that sort of made our decision, and that is Machine Gun Kelly is the headliner for the first night, and then Jack White headliner for the second night, and the undercards. I'm going to enjoy lots of alternative bands. As a matter of fact, what was kind of funny, I was trying to look for a song from anybody that didn't have curse words in it, and I couldn't find any. So I tried, but that was difficult. So now my office is finally done. If you take a close look at the video and you look above my head, above the blinds, where there's normally a curtain there, but now that curtain can't fit, there is a split mini air conditioner that I've been waiting months and months and months to finally get installed. It is installed. Now, anybody that knows me knows that it has to be cold. Has to be cold. A lot of you who are listening, who've been at conferences with me, are smiling and laughing. So when I tell you this, think of how cold it got. It's a 9,000 BTU split mini air conditioning that's on right now, and it is whisper quiet. I mean, you cannot hear, you don't even know it's on. So earlier today, I put it to 66 because I need it to be 68 degrees. That's how I live. And when you got a lot of padding on you, it's got to be cool. So I put it to 66, and it was cold. I mean, I was cold. So you can imagine how cold this room is, which is 100 square foot only for the office, if I think it's cold. So that means this is like a secondary freezer if I'm cold. And it's back up to 68. So that was the last piece for this office. The office is finished finally. And no. See, now my sister's in the chat. No, that's only this office. The rest of the house is the regular air conditioner. As a matter of fact, I raised the temperature to 70 degrees, and my wife, Dorothy, is very thankful for that. This is for me, for this room, as a supplemental air conditioner. And it's for me because I have all of this equipment, and lights. And then I added a fourth monitor off to the left that you can't even see yet until I do a tour of this office. So there's a lot of heat being generated here, and I need to cool it down. So that's all of the personal stuff going on that I wanted to update all of you with. So now I want to talk about some stories from the trenches, and I'm going to mention his name's Don, who's a very loyal listener that a while back reached out to me. He does audio video, used to do IT stuff in Ohio area, and he has some clients that he takes care of the cameras and the audio video and all kinds of great stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put him on. Now he's going to have to do his New Year's resolution that he told me this week. He's going to do an audio video podcast. And I told him, you do 7 episodes and then you record a promo and I will play it on my show, because 7 is the magic number of pod fading or not. So keep that in mind. Anyway, we have a joint client that he's brought me into again, and they are unhappy with their IT, kind of abandoned them, wouldn't give them the passwords, and they have a site-to-site VPN with 7 sites. So I recommended the 7 appliances from Untangle, and we have the W8 as the master, and we have 6 W4s for all of the satellite sites that we're going to connect. So this week, actually yesterday, I was testing with Don as we simulated the network, where he assigned 3 static IP addresses to the 3 devices. I remoted in, and what I'm doing is activating WireGuard. So WireGuard.com is going to be the first link for tonight. Then I have a link for setting up WireGuard VPN. I was overthinking it. If you need site-to-site VPN and you're using WireGuard, and the way they have WireGuard built right in to the NG firewall software, it was so simple. I was on with tech support for only a couple minutes. You literally go to the apps. You turn on the WireGuard VPN. You then go to settings, and you got to make sure you have an independent 172 IP address. Once you do that, you literally go into tunnels and you click add a tunnel. You get a screen, and all you have to do is, at the bottom, there is an option after you pick static where all you have to do is click to copy the settings. You do that either on the master or the slave. So let's say now I go to the master and I go to the same thing to add a tunnel. Well, you copy from the one, you bring up the other one in the browser because you're remoting in through the dashboard, and you just paste right where you see remote public key. Then click done and save. Then do the same with the slave or the slave site, because you copied you just click to copy all the info from that master, put it in, done, saved, instant tunnel, passing packets. Don hooks a Windows machine at the one end, and we can ping everything at the other end across a completely separate static IP address. It was so easy to set up. Give that strong consideration for site-to-site VPNs. And I know a lot of you use different products that you're happy with, Ubiquiti and Cisco, and there's lots of great stuff. I'm not an expert, but I'm becoming on Untangle and starting to deploy more and more of them, and I just love it. And the simplicity of this and the excellent tech support, that's what I want to convey. So if any of you are thinking about doing something like that, hey, and it's now Arista, Arista. They bought Untangle. So you end up, you go to untangle.com, but it's going to say Arista. And it's the same products. It's the same operating system, the same NG Firewall Complete, which I really, really like. Okay, this is interesting. And this is another great link, which is, what do you do when you have your client, especially a CPA, that are running multiple versions of QuickBooks, and the server, the database server manager, they only had the one, and they need to be in multi-user mode. So here's the bottom line for what you need for this. There's a couple tools, and the link I'm going to have is a great article for what to do for solving a problem with the error H2O2. That's right. If you have an H2O2 error, then this is what you want to run. You want to run multiple instances of Database Server Manager, and you can do it. You just have to set up and install. Just go to custom networking options and pick. You will not be running this QuickBooks on this computer, but the data will be stored there. Once I was able to do that and get it running for 2020, because 2022 was installed, they were able to run the multiple QuickBooks in multi-user mode. Not single user, multi-user. And anybody that's involved in QuickBooks, boy, you understand the dilemma. There's also the QuickBooks Tool Hub, and you definitely want to install that because that can help you launch everything that you need to launch. It just great utilities. And anytime I come across a great QuickBooks link, I'm going to pass it on to you, because that's a big help if you're putting out fires and fighting. I know I have so many CPAs as clients, and right now, the deadline's the 15th, and I know because I'm part of that, I got an extension, and I finally got everything submitted to my CPA, my bookkeeper. I finally did what he asked me to do, that he's been hounding me for months. I finally got some stuff done and got all the reports to the CPA, so I'll be doing everything in time, before October 15th. Well, there's a big rush right now for all my CPAs, and when they have a problem, or like this one right before the show started, trying to connect in with the Open VPN through an Untangle firewall back to the office to run their software, she was having trouble, and I was able to fix that. So compile, if you're supporting QuickBooks like that. I don't use QuickBooks, but I support getting it installed, making sure it works, and there's no errors and problems. All right. So local news, I forget what channel, down here in Tampa, and I think it was Sunday night. It was it wasn't sports, but it was after, and they were talking about all of the fake reviews. And whether you look at Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Best Buy, there's a browser add-on called Fake Spot. So I'm going to have a link in the show notes to fakespot.com. It's supported by Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Best Buy, and it weeds out scam artists and fake reviews. I have not dove into this, but this is a serious problem, and there are so many fake reviews you don't know. And one of the things you should also, I'm always leery of too positive of a review, just like the converse. I'm always leery of the 1-star review. And you also have to look at a lot of the reviews and see what time and date stamp they're being posted, because if they're close, that's a problem. I always say you knock out the good ones, you knock out the real bad ones, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle. That's my theory. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it might. Anyway, fakespot.com. Give that a try. I now want to take the rest of the show for however long, and I want to finish 12 emails. Now, some of them I can go pretty quick. And I have them all broken up here in my Adobe Acrobat, where one of the things I love about the real Acrobat is when I go into my email, I can click on like emails and create, which becomes a tab. And right now I have 4 emails that I got right away from my client that lost his last password, the master password. Well, by the way, the night that I talked about this, Thursday night, I called my client because I received some great responses. He finally remembered his password and got in. But I think some of the links I got is worth covering here. And we're going to start with Kevin. And he says, "Hey, Mike, just listen to the show. I've used LastPass for years and love it. Here's how I would handle that problem. Open the LastPass app as soon as possible." Now, remember, he can only open it on his phone. And grant the client's secondary email address. Make one if they don't have one. This is actually smart. Emergency access, and set the time to immediately. Otherwise, I would start sharing or copying, screenshotting important passwords, which, yes, that's what he was doing. He continues, immediately. My LastPass app signs out on a schedule, so time is of the essence. Yes, and I have my RoboForm do that all the time. That was Kevin. This is Jack. And while LastPass is still open, export all the data to a CSV file, and then you can import it again later anywhere you like a new profile or Bitwarden, etc. Very cool. Thank you. Tony and Anthony, but two different people. Tony, who's our moderator, I don't think he's here tonight in the chat. He sent me the support link, how to recover password on LastPass. That is what will be in the show notes. Anthony, also, thank you. You sent me the exact same link. And he writes, I actually had to do this recently with one of my IT admins that left. I used the following method below, and he has a great link here. And I will make sure that is in the show notes. Now, the last show, I took on Malwarebytes or not the last show, maybe the show before, where Malwarebytes had that issue where they started blocking everything Google. And I said, well, hey, what's everybody using? And let me know. Well, this is pretty cool. This is Davlet, and he is from the Tech for Tech group, and gave me your contact and said you are considering MCSoft for your clients. As a channel-focused AV vendor, we have attractive offers and conditions for various types of partners, managed services, retail, and VAR. And if I have 30 minutes, I am going to contact you. It's right now, I just got to get through a whole bunch of stuff. All right, this is from Cormac. And Mike, since you are using Synchro MSP and you are having trouble with Malwarebytes, and I like them, I love TechBench, yes, and I use TechBench all the time. You would be making more money, and in my mind, it's a better product. Use MCSoft. You can manage it from Synchro, and it will not give the customer the prompt to renew. That is very frustrating, by the way. And he continues, so you won't lose out on reselling. And Cormac's from Ireland, regular listener, always great advice. Thank you for emailing me. I am strongly considering MC Soft. My problem is I have so many client assets with Malwarebytes, and making the switch, it's not going to be easy, but I got to test with it, and I'll use my own systems as a guinea pig, make sure pushing it out, managing it with Synchro, see how that is. Okay, couple responses on my restaurant rant, but it wasn't a terrible rant because when the manager comped the entire meal. But this is from Nancy, this is a great point. There's a restaurant here that everybody loves, but you won't ever get a filet cooked medium there. The reason is that they use, and they have it on posters inside the restaurant, a 500-degree grill. That's designed to put a sear on the steaks, and it works great for rare and medium rare. But a medium steak needs a low and slow grill. You probably don't cook your steaks at home anywhere near 500 degrees. My husband had a medium rare ribeye, and he said it was great. If I ordered a different steak, I may have been able to get a medium steak. And this is Nancy. Nancy, thank you so much. That's a good point. And Sullivan's Steakhouse just may not. But then what they should have done is told me that, if that's the case. I don't remember seeing anything posted, but I believe that, and that makes sense. But that is something I'm sure they ran into before, where the customer is expecting medium but gets, mine was more rare than it was medium rare. I think medium rare, I might have kept it. This was pretty rare. So I have trouble with rare. All right. Nancy, thank you for that. This is from Terry. My rant is not as bad as yours. I like cheese. I eat cheese sticks, cheese pizza, lasagna, Philly cheesesteaks, etc. I do not like cheese on my hamburger. Boy, that's interesting. I love cheese on my hamburger. He continues, it seems that half the time that I order a hamburger and tell the waitress twice, no cheese, I still get a cheeseburger. On Friday, I went to Buffalo Wild Wings. I had cheese sticks for an appetizer. The waitress put in the order correctly, but when it arrived, it was a cheeseburger. This happens to me at plenty of restaurants. I wouldn't allow that, and I would send it back. And I would say, I did not order a cheeseburger. I ordered a hamburger. And if you mentioned you don't want cheese on it and they put cheese on it, I'm sorry, that's wrong. And they should comp you for the burger, and they should prepare a new one for you. All right. Now we're into the tab that is other emails covering different topics. And Drew, who sent me that large link of all the great PowerShell links, followed up and sent me the link that I'm going to have in the show notes for, hold on, let me learn PowerShell in a month of lunches, and it's a PDF that you can purchase. And I now have it, and I thank you very, very much, Drew. So that link is going to be in the show notes. Learn PowerShell in a month of lunches, 4th edition, and you can get the PDF version. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now that was Drew. Another option for my client. This is from Tim. And when we were talking about cloud-based desktops, I have not looked into this. Microsoft offers a cloud PC called Windows 365 Business Cloud PC. I absolutely have to look into that. And he said also check out AWS has Amazon Workspaces. Yeah, AWS has everything. So I absolutely will be checking that out, Tim. Thank you for listening and then coming through with those options. This is a problem for Mick. He says, got a question which I hope you or one of your listeners might be able to help me with. I volunteer at a not-for-profit group, being their IT guy for over 30 years now. We had 2 Windows 7 computers connected via Ethernet cables, with one of them having an HP LaserJet connected via a USB connection. Both computers were able to print to the printer. I got 2 Windows 11 home replacement computers and connected them to the same Ethernet points and installed the Windows 8 printer drivers, as there were none for later versions of Windows. It works fine and prints and scans from the computer to which it is directly connected. I've shared out the printer on the connected computer and gave it a meaningful name. The other computer I've tried to connect to the shared computer using the 2 methods I know of: add a printer, select a shared printer name. Also tried add a local printer or network with manual settings and installed the printer drivers. Trying to print from both methods gives me the same error code, error trying to connect to shared printer. I have an idea. I found a suggestion for fixing this error by checking the registry key on both computers. This was the RPC Authent level privacy enabled, which I did with no success. The printer is an HP LaserJet 1020. Any suggestions would be gratefully appreciated. Yes, when dealing with a share that doesn't work, the first thing I want to do, turn off the firewalls on both computers. Literally turn them off. The computer's going to scream and yell, and you turn them off. Also, disable antivirus on both computers, because you can always do one at a time, turning them back on after you get printing. Do that and make sure that you can you can print to it. But do something else for me. Create a share it out to everyone, and then make sure that if you create that share on PCA, where the printer is physically connected to A, on B, and that's after you disabled the firewalls and you disabled antivirus, I want you to, can you browse to that machine, and can you create a text file remotely? Because if you can't see that share, you have something else going on. There's another problem going on with the network settings. First, make sure you can see a regular share for a regular folder, and can you copy and create a text file, something simple. Then go back and try the printing. And Mick, let me know how you made out. And if anybody else has some ideas, let me know, and I will pass them on to Mick. This is from Pete. Hello, Mike. As I'm building my IT services, I'm getting more and more questions about storing and sharing sensitive information. I thought you might be concerned about my health, but they are always telling me, just in case you should die, we need the passwords and access for everything. Some of my clients have a lot of information that changes regularly. I use OneNote to store a collection of pictures and notes in a password-protected section for each client. That's a great idea. How do you present that information to the client? How do you and the customer protect that info? How do you keep them up to date? It is a struggle keeping them up to date. Passwords, I use a password protected Excel spreadsheet that the owner or main person and I maintain. And we maintain that on either their peer server or the regular server. If it's a regular server, boy, the permissions and everything, that makes it easy. We just lock it down to the two of us. Or if there's another, whoever needs access to that. But I do it the old-fashioned way, which is a spreadsheet. There are better documentation programs. And I've actually inherited work from an IT company in taking over support. And what they hand me, the book on it was amazing. But there you're using professional documentation software, which costs some money. So there's ways to look into that but you're going to spend some money. And that would be a professional looking, way of doing it. What I like doing is keeping it all in Excel and Word for the client, and then I'll present them with a PDF. But it's always in password protected files. And if we share an admin password on the server, then that's the password for that document. That's what I do now, and I do it the old-fashioned way, manually. But there are better methods, but they cost money. He continues, some of my clients think it's okay to store passwords in an unprotected Excel document with the file name passwords on the desktop. Clearly, that is not recommended, and you should convince them that they should change. Also, we all have those clients that try to fix it themselves, unfortunately, and then cause more damage. How do you communicate to a customer how sensitive this information is? And if the customer accesses the router, the website, and email settings, the VoIP system, they could seriously cause some damages. I always take a look. What business are they in? And I will tell this story again. I think I told it a long time ago. I'm at a dental office, and I'm in, and the x-rays are having trouble being viewed on the third monitor. Now, I'm there and my son's there for something totally different. But he calls me in, and I see what's wrong, and it's how it's the settings of the monitors. And I do a couple clicks, and it works. And he's like, boy, that was easy. I could have done that. And I said, yeah. I said, and his one patient was finished. I said, what's your next patient? And he's like, oh, I got some fillings. I said, can I do that? I think it looks really easy. He laughed. He high-fived me, and he said, message received. You have to communicate your experience that when you've set them up, the VoIP system and the router, that if they go in and play, they can cause some major damage, which will cost them much, much more for you to have to reset it up, fix the changes. First, you're going to have to figure out what was changed and what happened, and explain that it's going to cost them money. You've been doing it for what, 20 years, 30 years. Know your experience, know how long you've been doing it, obviously, and communicate that. If I'm with my CPA, I'll say, boy, taxes look real easy. Think I could do them? And do it in a very sarcastic manner that's polite, that gets your message across. I do it with, although they don't see it coming from me, I do it via comedy, from a straight face, and then moving into that, it's like the story of the plumber, where the guy's got a problem. He goes to the basement and he takes the hammer and he hits the pipe, and he says, that'll be $110. And the guy's like, all you did is bang the pipe. $110? Yes. The $100 is for my 30 years of experience to know exactly where to hit it. The $10 is the wear and tear in the pipe on the hammer. I'm just giving you some funny examples of ways that you need to come up with yours on a way to get the message, get that message through, that if they start screwing with things and messing around and playing, oh well, you'll fix it, but they could be down. Why risk it? Is it worth it? This is what you do for a living. I would not consider changing the oil in my car. You know why? I never learned how. I'm not a car person, and I'm not going to just go look on YouTube to how to do it and do it. I would rather have someone do it right, schedule my oil change appointment, which, by the way, it's kind of funny because that was just done on Monday, and I get the oil changed. I'm not going to do it. Why? Why put myself through that? I do what I do, what I love, what I'm passionate about, and I've been doing it for a very long time. So it's when someone asks me to do something that took me 30 years to learn, and I have to communicate, boy, you want 30 years of my experience in 10 minutes. But it's impossible to do. So you got to communicate that they don't have your experience, and playing can make things worse, and it's going to cost them money, and you got to have that conversation. And if they don't want to listen, well, they didn't listen. And you take your time, you fix it all. If they're down, they're down. Say, I warned you, and here we are. You know what, Pete? Please let me know if any of that helps. I really would like to know, and know how you're dealing with that with a particular client. That would be a great follow-up. I would appreciate that. Okay, that's it for tonight's show. Shows are getting a little longer, I noticed, sometimes, but I had a lot to cover. I had the personal stuff I wanted to get out of the way, and then some in the trenches work, and then all the emails. I just wanted to get caught up and follow up, and that is it for tonight's show. Remember, Fab's Auto Backup Pro, link is in the show notes, for incredible program to transfer the settings, instant house call for your remote support, Magnus Box for all your backups, and don't forget Discord, our forums, where there's great discussions. I have been laxing because of the hurricane and a lot of work that's been going on here. And with family being sick, and especially my oldest son, I've been covering for everything and running around crazy. So I haven't had time for Discord. I promise I will get back in there, and I will answer and spend, some quality time in there. Sign up. It's free. The invitation link that you click on, again, in the show notes. Everything's at MikeTechShow.com. Everything you can do. Anything you want to know about the show, that's the place. The show notes, links to everything. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you back here, same time, same channel. Bye-bye.